welcome back to the Halcyon Radio podcast. My name is Elsie, and I will be your guide to the wonderful small town of Halcyon. In the last episode, Darla and I went into the forest and found magic all around us, but we fell asleep at the base of a large tree with a winged man up in the branches. Let's get back to the story. I awoke in my bed at the inn, a little dazed, my mind cloudy. Was I dreaming last night? But then terror ran through me. Darla, where was she? I was still in my vampire costume. I jumped out of bed and ran to my warm clothes, throwing them on, stumbling a bit because I still wasn't fully awake. I rushed to the door and down the stairs. I saw Janice at the front desk. Well, Elsie, where are you going in such a rush? I need to find Darla. I forgot to give her something for school today. She looked at me with a slight smile. Oh, that makes sense. She stopped by the inn on her way to school this morning. I told her you were still asleep. Relief rushed over me. She stopped by this morning? Janice nodded. Yes, she seemed out of sorts, but kept asking if she could go up and see you. I told her you needed your rest. You were sure out late last night. What were you up to? I wasn't sure what to say in the moment, but I also didn't want to lie. We went into the forest after the Halloween festival. It was interesting. Janice chuckled a little. Well, that makes much more sense now. I asked, what's going on out there? Is there a radiation spill somewhere nearby? Janice smiled. Oh, honey, there's nothing like that. Confused as ever, I started to ask more, but just then, Charlie walked through the front door, pulling a hand truck loaded with boxes. Janice, good morning. Here's your box of pale ales. Oh, thank you, Charlie. Can you put them in the storage closet? Elsie, why don't you go help? A little flustered because I still didn't get an answer from her, and terrified about the idea that I didn't remember how I even got home last night, I sighed. Yeah, right this way, I said, as though Charlie didn't already know where to go. I didn't see you at the Halloween festival. Did you end up going? He asked. I replied, yeah, I did. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before. He laughed as we made our way to the storage closet and started loading the beers into the large refrigerator. All the holidays around here are just like that. Wait until you see the autumn harvest feast. I asked, what is that? Janice hasn't told me yet. It's where everyone is assigned a dish to bring to the feast. Then there's the pie contest. Elsie, you have to enter. Mrs. Mayweather can't win again. She's won every year since I was a kid. I smiled. Well, I doubt I'll be able to beat someone who's won every year. He replied, no. The whole town has been on to her for a long time now. She cheats. She always has the exact same crust texture, never a single burnt edge, and her filling is suspiciously perfect every single time. I just know it. I just haven't been able to prove it yet. So this is your year to catch her? I joked. Charlie started to get more excited. Yes, and I will. Guess I'll start working on my pies now, I said. Oh, but you can't use your little robot friend. It's a rule. Only human-made dishes. And especially for the pie. I nodded my head, unsure how I was going to accomplish this. We finished stocking the ales into the fridge. Charlie was getting ready to leave when he turned to me and said, you need to stop by the brewery soon. I've got food, too. I will. Don't worry, I said as he stood to leave. Nice to see you, Elsie. I nodded my head. After that, I needed to start breakfast. We were having pumpkin cream crepes with a maple glaze on top. Basil instructed me as I stirred flour into milk to make the crepe batter and started on the pumpkin cream filling. I swirled the batter into a hot pan and watched as it grew thin and bubbled. As I was plating, I took the crepes and smeared a generous portion of the cream inside and folded them. I topped each with the maple glaze. The smell made my stomach growl. I wanted to try it, but I knew the guests came first. After breakfast was over and I was done cleaning up, I heard the sound of child feet stomping through the front of the inn, coming towards the kitchen. "Elsie!" I heard Darla's voice. "Darla, are you okay?" I asked. "Janice told me you stopped by this morning. I was so worried about you." "Yes, I wanted to make sure you ended up back here. I woke up in my bed," she said loudly. I looked around to see if anyone else could be hearing. I whispered, "I did end up in my bed. It was all a dream, Darla." She shook her head. Then out of her pocket, she pulled out the petals she'd found in the forest the night before, and they were all still as bright as they'd been, glowing in the palm of her hand. "Look, it was all real," she said. My stomach dropped as though it had fallen into a pool of acid. I stood there staring at the petals, not knowing how to respond. "Elsie, let's go back. I want to go back. Remember the bat guy we saw? He probably brought us back. I knew he was still out there." I shook my head. I couldn't comprehend what last night was. "No, Darla, Elsie, we need to go talk to him." The thought of a winged man flying me back to my room was unsettling. I didn't want to think about it. Part of me wanted to call my mom to bring me back to the city. I didn't think I was cut out for the small town life. "Darla, I need to get back to work. I'll talk to you about this another time, okay? I'm glad you're safe, but don't go back into the forest," I said with a tremor in my voice. My appetite now gone, I went back up to my room to lie in bed. Thoughts of the night before ran through my head. The glowing mushrooms, the humming rocks, the enormous tree that was beaming with life, and the large bat-like thing. I didn't know what to believe anymore. But the city wasn't a safe haven either. As I laid there, I remembered a night where I was out late with friends from work. It had to have been past 2 a.m., which was unheard of, but the pub had been open late that night, a birthday party for someone I barely knew when I was still trying so hard to fit in. I'd had a couple of the nootropic mental enhancer drinks and was feeling very relaxed. As I walked through the few blocks back home with the group, a patrol bot was scanning the streets. People weren't allowed to have weapons in the city, and they went through randomly at night, making sure no one had any. A while back, the cities had gotten so dangerous, they implemented the patrol bots, and crime went down significantly. Some of my coworkers were amused by the patrol bot and laughed as it casually scanned them. Then it scanned me. I didn't think anything of it at first. Then it stayed on me. That's when I knew something was off. It loudly told me to stop. So I did, and I habitually put my hands up in a fearful response. The nootropic elixir I had wasn't stopping my heart from pounding out of my chest. The patrol bots could use force if needed. Everyone knew this. But then the patrol bot said, "Drop the weapon." I didn't know what to think. I had a small purse on me, but it only had my phone. My whole group of coworkers stopped to stare at me, but they didn't say anything. As I responded that I didn't have anything, with so many watchful eyes judging my every move, the patrol bot said loudly again, "Comply, or you'll be taken into custody." I watched as the group I was walking with started to dwindle away, walking backward with the corner of their eye on me until they turned around, only to leave me frozen with my hands in the air. I could hear little bursts of giggling. Even the girl I'd befriended that night walked away with another woman from the office. I was stuck alone with this patrol bot. I couldn't shake the memory of what it was like that night, alone in the dark, unsure what was happening, knowing that to those coworkers, I wasn't important enough to stick around for. It ended up being a malfunction on the patrol bot. When it scanned my purse, it mistook my metal lipstick container for a knife. But I didn't know that until a human patrol showed up about 40 minutes later. Part of me wished it had taken me into custody, because the shame of showing up to work the next Monday was even more painful. No one even asked what happened, but I could hear snickers every time I left a room. As I laid in bed, I could feel the warm tears rolling down my face. I had forgotten how much that had affected me. I hated feeling so alone. And in that moment, there was a knock on the door. I didn't want to answer it in the state I was in, but I got up anyways. As I opened the door, I didn't see anyone standing there. But as I looked down at the carpeted floor, I saw a little box wrapped with ribbon with a small note that said, "For Elsie." It didn't say who it was from, but it was sprinkled with glitter. Thank you for listening to the Halcyon Radio podcast. Please join me for the next episode, coming soon.